Take my hand, together we'll fall now, we'll fall now. I don't know what to say, but I'll try my best. It's terribly cliche, 'cause when you...
Hey guys, so I decided that I was going to make a video about bottle feeding. And part of the reason I decided to do this is because there is such a debate out there about, do you breast or do you bottle feed? And where I delivered at, they really pushed breastfeeding on you. And I know a few other moms delivered at the same hospital. And for the ones that chose to bottle feed instead, they were kind of treated differently, which is really unfair. And just people in general treat you differently, like doctors, nurses, things like that. And people in public, people you don't know, like strangers, they judge you for the method that you choose to feed your child with. And Abrielle, at 4.5 months old, is bottle fed, completely bottle fed. I do not breastfeed at all. I do not pump, none of that anymore. She was breastfed at first, and that didn't work out for us, for our family. So, I had to make the choice to give my daughter a bottle. And that first time I gave her a bottle, I cried. And it has been a sore spot ever since for me. And yes, it hurts my feelings, but in the end, I know that I made the second best choice. So to start out with bottle feeding, honestly, it's just as convenient as breastfeeding. Like for us, what we normally do is we go ahead and we make the day's bottles, or at least get the formula and the water measured out and ready to go. So it is not that difficult to mix it up and give it to her. And another really benefit to it, I guess you could say, is when they're a newborn, it's not as demanding. Like, you can leave your baby and go out for a few hours. I don't know if all moms feel this way, but like when we came home from the hospital, after about 2 weeks, I was going stir crazy because I never got out of the house. Like, all I did was take care of Abrielle all day long and be mommy. And Sam, in the meantime, got out of the house. And he got to, even though it was just going to work and going to school, he still got out of the house more than I did. And it drove me crazy not being able to go anywhere, because I hated, and this was me personally, I hated breastfeeding in public. I struggled with breastfeeding anyway, and I always had to use nipple shields, and I just felt awkward, trying to do it out in public. So that started us on pumping and putting it, in a syringe, and syringe feeding her, like when she was a newborn. Sam did help with some of the feedings in the hospital, because I'd had that C-section. And even in the hospital when she was first born, I had issues with breastfeeding, and they let me pump a lot. And Sam would give it to her through a syringe because we didn't want to give her a bottle. Like, we did that for weeks, and it was so difficult. It was a pain in the butt to do it that way, and honestly, it did not help things at all with us. In giving Abrielle the bottle, it freed up my time, and it freed up, I guess you could say, I don't want to use the word, I don't know how to say it, like my connection to always be there, because I had to be there because I was the only one that had her food. And with bottle feeding, Sam could watch her for a while, or somebody else could, a friend or a family member, something like that. And it also allowed Sam to get to bond with Abrielle more, and people in our family too, and our friends. That's like, when she was first born and people came to visit us in the hospital, I would have to ask my friends and family to leave the room a lot so I could nurse her. And obviously not everyone I did that with. Like, my sister stayed in the room, and a couple of my best, like, absolute best friends I let stay in the room, but otherwise I felt awkward. I didn't want my family, like, seeing that. I didn't want them seeing the, my body, and I felt like it was a really private thing. So maybe I kind of have an odd view of breastfeeding. I felt like it was a really personal thing that we were doing, and that I just didn't want it viewed by everyone else. So, on top of it just being more convenient and allowing more people to get to bond with Abrielle and spend more time with her, bottle feeding for us in ways has been just easier in general. It allowed me to get back to work sooner. It allowed me to do school sooner, and just things like that, things that I wanted to do. Now, does it really affect mine and her's relationship? I miss the closeness, like, that I felt when I nursed her. And I miss, that feeling that it gives you. Like, it's an amazing feeling to know that you are your child's food source, that you possess exactly what they need, and it's only you that they can get that from. Like, it makes you feel really special, and, like, they need you. And I guess I needed to feel that way, like, especially right after I had her, because everything happened so fast, and because I was so unsure of myself and my role as a mother, and being the fact that I'm the youngest, I don't have any little siblings I ever helped take care of or anything like that. That feeling gave me more confidence in my parenting abilities, and in my relationship building with her. But at the same time, bottle feeding has given us that too, because she is still dependent on me, not solely on me now, but she's still dependent on us, because she can't mix the bottle herself. She still can't hold her own bottles, so she's, she looks to you to help her, to make sure that she has what she wants and what she needs. Has bottle feeding affected her growth? Well, you guys tell me. Abrielle is perfectly healthy. She's right where she belongs. On her growth chart, she was born in the 5th percentile. She's now in the 25th percentile. She was a little baby, so it was to be expected that she would be smaller for a while and be a little bit below the average, which they've told me, that's normal, that's fine. What matters is she's growing and she's gaining weight at her own pace, which is a good pace for her. Do I think that it'll affect her, like, how smart she is? I was bottle fed. My mom never breastfed at all. I was in the top of my class at graduation. I would definitely say that I'm smart when it comes to school. My GPA was just about perfect. I had a lot of options for colleges. Sam is very smart too. He scored 91 on his ASVAB. The first time he took his ACT, he had a high score. I did too. We both, good grades in school, very smart. Sam was bottle fed as well, no breastfeeding whatsoever. I don't think that determines how smart your child is. I think what determines that will be your own child's ability to learn, and how much you and your child will invest in education. When I was a kid, my mom used to buy those little workbook things, with Disney princesses and Winnie the Pooh and stuff, and we would sit at the kitchen table and do that. Like, before I even got in kindergarten, I could count and add and subtract and write and read some stuff, just basic things. Like, I was a little bit above my peers in kindergarten, especially because my mom had taken the incentive and the extra time to teach me things that I needed to know at home. Do I think that it'll make her have less risk for obesity? Honestly, I think that'll depend on us. That'll depend on the choices that she makes in life, and how we help her decide what are good food choices and bad food choices, and good exercise patterns and bad exercise patterns. Now, when it comes to me, do I think it helped me lose the weight? Most definitely I do. But at the same time, I'm not breastfeeding now, and I'm still losing weight. I weigh way less now than I did before I got pregnant. So I mean, I think it helps, but that's not all there is to losing the postpartum weight. So all in all, I don't think it matters where your child gets their nutrition from as long as they are getting it. And you should not feel ashamed to be out somewhere and pull out a bottle or pull out your boob to feed your baby. Either way, it's all the same, honestly. As long as you feel comfortable with what you're doing, as long as you are happy and your child is developing and healthy, that is really what should matter. Not, whether it comes from a body part or a plastic bottle. Those things are so irrelevant in the scheme of things, really. And I'm honestly, I have no issues saying that I bottle feed my daughter. It's no big deal. I love, doing that. It's what works for us. Maybe the next time around I'll be able to breastfeed much longer than I did this time, but who knows, maybe next time we won't even try. It all depends on you and your baby as an individual, and your family and your needs and your goals, and kind of how you want things to go after you have your child. So hope that helps you guys, and we will see you later. Bye guys.